to the panel. Well,
Have you seen that going?
It's a bit all right.
I was going to say,
quite nice. I like quite a lot.
normally this person doesn't need any introduction, but because he's not wearing 3 inches of makeup, I thought I might say, please welcome Mr. Gene Simmons. And thank you for coming.
I wanted everybody to know how what a thrill it is, and you're all really nice. And thank you for giving me your sister last night. Most of the people here don't know what a nice show this is. They give you crack each one of the guests has their own little crack stash, right?
Yeah, no, and we pipe some gas through to them. We don't like to talk about.
Russian, are you?
Now, tell me, were you worried about travelling here? We were just talking about Paul McCartney. No, a little
not
bit.
At all. Not at all. I literally just landed today. I landed. What time was that, Nick? 9 a.m. 10, something like that. No, not at all. I would
daylight saving.
No, I mean, half seriously. I was born in Israel, so I came to America when I was 9 years of age, and you just have a different sort of a temperament. There's the notion. I think Australia, unfortunately, is waking up to the fact that the world isn't just a television program, and that it's not all just happening over there. I mean, I don't want to get too serious too fast here, but this thing, in a lot of ways, I think is going to actually do some good for the country, which is that you're not just in paradise, that all the troubles of the world, unfortunately, are going to encroach here, and everybody should start looking out for each other as opposed to looking out what's over there. You know, look at strange people coming and going, and at least pick up the phone and somebody's going off on vacation, watch their homes. That's enough talk, Simmons.
Do you think the same thing happened in America during September 11? Because up until then, they'd been fairly free of any of that stuff in their own backyard.
Yeah,
they'd been watching it on the
although
telly.
it's always been a country that's been full of violence because the country sort of came to it. You know, everything is way over the top there. Too much violence and too much good. On the other hand, the world goes there to talk peace in the United Nations. You know, it's the extremes of all things that happen in America. But, you know, it's not the first time that it's happened. In 92 or something, the World Trade Center was bombed, you know, by Muslim extremists and so on. And by the way, people should get over this idea. They keep tossing around Muslim as a word that sort of is synonymous with bad. That's really not fair. There's some really good Muslims around the world. Jordan's a great Muslim country. Kuwait's lots of stuff. And people forget that during the Middle Ages, the Christians weren't so hot either. They went around. So what's happening to the...
You're not still bringing it up against us Christians, are you?
No, I mean, but the point is perhaps some of the Muslims are going through their Middle Ages. And but who cares why? The point is just to keep your guard up and understand that Australia isn't the safe haven and paradise that it always was.
And Gene, while we're on rock and roll, there's been a handgun controversy recently about whether we change our laws to handguns. Do you own a handgun in America?
Absolutely.
Right, and in your county,
I own an H-bomb. You know.
Right, and in your county, you're allowed to.
In the hills of Beverly.
Right. Would most people have them?
The truth is that the unfortunate rules of society is that the bad guys, people who want to break the law, will simply go and get them whether you want them to or not. And so it's like wars, you know. The rules of war work as long as both sides abide by the same rules. The problem with the criminal element is they're not interested in you've taken out a license or not. They will simply have a handgun. And then you have a choice, and you do have a choice of either having a handgun at home, if and when that happens, or not.
Have you ever had a situation where you've thought, I might be close to getting my gun out?
Oh, often.
Like
the gardener?
Only in the boudoir. Well, for his own protection. It was self-defense.
It wasn't that kind of gun either.
Bang.
How bizarre is that the whole world knows that about you or believes that about you?
That
your sexual prowess goes before you, like some sort of flag.
My sexual.
It's a very peculiar thing.
It is such a bizarre thing. Everybody keeps talking about the size of my tongue, when the truth is I have the most beautiful elbows you've ever seen. Nobody ever says whip them out, Simmons. Come on, let me see those elbows. You want to see those? I got some nice. But it's always about the tongue. Probably, I think I figured out. It's probably because not so much that it's big and fat. Yes, girls, it's true, but but perhaps because it's got the ability to whip up a good goddamn froth and a spin and dry cycle too, as a matter of fact.
I want a number for every member of our audience, and I want to see that they're safe tomorrow.
This tape came to me. I was asking, what is it? And it's been described to me as a work in progress.
Oh, you know what's happening is, speaking of potato chips, I'm going to be I'm going to be in Sydney on Tuesday the 5th, and in Melbourne right here on the 6th. Yeah. And what I'll be doing is basically lecturing, talking to you about all kinds of things that you never thought about, including the institution of marriage, which, as I understand it, you have to be committed to, which may sound like a nut house, but that's another subject for another time. And so I'm going to get up and basically give people a good vocal ass kicking, because a lot of people, I think, need it. People tend to complain about all kinds of stuff, and I've had the life of Riley. You know, I practice what I preach, mean what I say what I mean, and my life has been grand because I make no excuses. I live my own life my way. I've made lots of money, and I'm proud of it. And you guys should get off your butts and come and get some of what I've got. You can have the life that you want, but you're going to have to break some rules. And I like to take photos of where I've been.
Yeah. In fact, we've heard about the Polaroids. Is it true? How many Polaroids do you actually have of
the ladies?
Of your friends? Yes.
About 4,600.
That is ridiculous.
And that's the number of women you've been with?
Been with?
Well,
not
yeah.
all of them. There's a few hundred more, I would say, but
Yeah,
I'm being very serious. It's a chat show after all. When I went through high school and stuff, I didn't do that. When Kiss first went out on tour in the 1800s, by the way, one of the audience members asked me to stick out my tongue before, and I hope you'll understand the floor is a little bit dirty. I couldn't do it. I'm here all week. Try to do it.
I'll tell you something.
Doing bar mitzvahs.
I read an interview with you, and one of the most amazing things
Really good crack.
You know.
is you just go straight out and you're frank as all hell.
Well, I think you have no choice.
You said it's good to be selfish. It's good to look after yourself.
Oh, well,
good to
yeah.
chase
Whoever
money,
told
good
you it's not? Take a cue from the airlines. God forbid something happens 30,000 feet up in the air and it starts to shake. The oxygen masks come down. And they actually tell you, you've got 7 seconds. Put the oxygen mask on yourself. Don't put it on your loved one. Be selfish. I don't want to be loved by somebody who doesn't love themselves. Okay?
Yeah.
That means be selfish. Love yourself most, and then you'll have love to give. Make the most amount of money, then you'll have money to give.
But at the expense of, you know.
That's
what I mean?
right. That's right. At the expense of, because if you're getting married, as an example, because your mom wants you to, or the church wants you to, or everybody else wants you to, you're going to die one miserable son of a bitch. You better make sure that you're happy first and foremost, even if mom doesn't get it, if the preacher doesn't get it. You know what? Even if God doesn't get it. You know what? Get your own life. My responsibility is to make myself happy, not necessarily at your expense, but if you don't get it, so what?
So
Go make yourself happy.
Good stuff. God's had us too good for too long. God, can't do this, can't do that, can't do that. On with you.
So you've got your speaking tour. You've already spoken about that. What about the symphony tour?
Speaking tour, you're still going to be letting off a couple of flashpots.
Oh, yeah.
Please tell me.
Well, I'm going to be playing music people haven't heard before. I discovered Van Halen in the early 70s, and I'll be playing the demo that I produced of them, but nobody's ever heard of. Plus, I'll be showing video footage of sort of the lifestyle that you've all heard about. You know, the girls and the lifted and separated and pointed in my general direction.
Can we just show just a little bit of it while we talk? These are the chicks. Oh, we were watching this today. This was absolutely phenomenal.
Is this a documentary?
Well,
I shot some stuff for HBO, which was going to be a show called. Gee, there's a good-looking guy. What's that sticking out? What the hell is that?
You were actually fondling her breast when she was taking that shot.
I was actually the other footage. Part of the the other shots in the footage was when I was drilling for oil. You didn't.
We have a religious program. I was wondering what the topic's going to be.
All right. And
but you're absolutely right. On the 5th in Sydney, and on the 6th I will be in Melbourne.
And next year for the symphony.
February the 28th, the symphony. But you're going to have to wait for that. In the meantime, in
While
the flesh,
you're in
baby.
Australia, are you drilling for oil, or are you? Oh. I've been co-opted into the Kiss Army.
I wouldn't want to go there.
I think it's time to go to the break, and we might do some more drilling for oil during the commercial. Please thank Mr. Gene Simmons.
Centre tomorrow night, a performance of Speaking in Tongues.
Yes.
And then back to the Melbourne Palais as part of the Cup Carnival, Speaking in Tongues on Wednesday night.
That's exactly right. Tomorrow night,
Now,
Sydney.
Keep going.
And the day after, Melbourne.
Melbourne. What's the show about?
Well, it's really less a show and more a chance for me to get up there and practice my delusional state, which is usually that I start off by talking. When I was a child, I was born, and so on and so forth. But I've been a very, very lucky guy. Besides wearing more makeup and higher heels than most of your girlfriends, I've also had the privilege of basically leading my life my way, which is to say I'm not really qualified to do a lot of things, but somehow I figured out a way to be happy and terribly rich. And maybe there's something in there for everybody. Maybe there's a way to get there without having to go to Wharton Business School and do the 10 steps of here's how to succeed in life. And people usually separate their private life from their business life. There is no separation. Everything costs money, and you have to figure out what feels good for you. That was about as serious as we're going to get.
No.
And now back to the festivities.
Now, can I ask then, would you be recommending people in this speech to go and bet tomorrow as part of the Melbourne Cup, or to put a wager on the Oaks Day?
Wager. Go with a pretty girl and put the money on the right horse.
No, that's the obvious answer.
No, what I'm saying is go to the races, enjoy everything, bet if you like, but go with a pretty girl.
Yes.
Because win or lose, you'll be at the finish line.
Now, no, I understand that. No,
You know what I mean?
I do. Now, have you performed this Speaking in Tongues in other places, and if so?
Oh yes, as a matter of fact, I addressed the Australian Marketing Institute.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to be looking at your partner more than you are,
Yes,
because
they
you
are.
are quite powerful and attractive.
Very powerful.
In your own right.
Yes.
And
Oh, I don't mind being left out here, boys.
No,
if
you're
you've got a
right.
thing going for God's sake.
no,
you too. No,
I'm happy to go.
No, it's okay,
Who needs me? I just might take this with me, though.
That's fine. Gene, this gives us the opportunity to explore philosophies of which I think we have some in common. Don't worry about Aisha, he'll be back. My philosophy is, and I've been to your country, is that people have got to learn to love themselves a little bit more. You know, I go to your country, Gene, and I see a lot of people that don't love themselves enough.
Really?
Yes,
Which
yes.
country-
Now,
which
would
country?
you, the United States of
No,
America?
I would say if anything, America, above all the other countries, is as selfish as you can get.
But isn't that a good thing? Isn't that
No,
part of your philosophy?
I believe at the core of it,
Yeah.
what they teach you in school, your teachers, your preachers,
Yes.
and everybody else,
Yes.
basically teaches you a warped version of life. I believe that at the core of love should be self-love first and foremost. The last thing I want to
Absolutely.
do is to be loved or be in bed with anybody who doesn't think too much about themselves, you know? Self-esteem
that.
problems, that's right.
I hate that. I hate that.
You two are going to get on great.
No. Look.
You're just jealous because it's
Absolutely.
No.
I'm admitting it.
You've had a
I
relationship.
haven't got that relationship which allows me to love myself enough to be part of this menage.
I've been at it.
That we'd hoped to get off the ground here tonight. I mean, sure. Nothing turns me on than horse talk, and to have a kiss person here.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it would be a natural fit.
Yeah,
Roy.
well, it is.
I mean, I know
It
you
is.
weren't trying to
It
exclude
is.
me, bro.
It
I'm not
is.
blaming you.
No. Look, my philosophy, Gene, I've been out in schools, I've been preaching this from high and low all over the world, wherever I go,
Yes.
is that people should make as much money as they can,
As soon as possible.
and root as often as they can as well. Now, I think we're eye to eye on this one, aren't
Except
we?
for one thing.
Except for one thing.
I don't know what root means.
Shag.
It's not like beer.
Shag,
Oh, yeah.
shag.
Drilling for oil.
hide the sausage.
Yes.
Know that one well. That's my job.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that well. No, quite honestly, I do in fact think that's what it's all about.
That's
yes,
what it's all
you
about.
should do that as often. Think of yourself, you know, when you go to one of those freak houses and they give you a hammer and the beavers keep coming up. Just keep popping as many as you can before they stick you 6 feet under.
That's
Can
right.
I ask-
Well, we try to get we try to root 5,000 or 6,000 times a week.
The only time we're not at it is when we're on the show. Can I just
Honestly,
ask
it's the
though?
only bit of respite we get.
Oh, it's happened!
Excuse
It's
me.
happened! Hello!
Broadcast. It's happened. Sorry, Gene. The drop's
Just hang
on.
on. Let's have a look. What a nuisance, I think, has done the business. Let's have a look now. Crossover. Yes, here we go to the drop zone.
Is this it?
And Michael's got it there somewhere near the top
There
end.
it is.
It's only a tiny amount, but it'll do.
No.
We've
It's
been
in
waiting
the,
so long. He drags the horse away from the drop zone. And let's have a look and see if our measurer can get in there with the stick.
It's
and
the
what is the answer?
RFUSC. Tennant Creek.
Do we have a winner? We do! Here's our winner tonight! Well done, stay there. Congratulations to the Jet Set Tours, the package, the roadmap, and we'll be coming to you after the show. Tennant Creek, Section 3, Dump Lotto. Congratulations.
That's fantastic.
Gene, as we were saying.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
No, that's all right. This is the Carnival. We call it the Carnival. It happens every year here in
That
Australia.
was real poop, was it not?
It was. Oh, yeah, no, we're not squeamish.
I'm so impressed.
Can I just ask to get us back on track? We've always been impressed by the work that Bill Wyman has been able to do, both in accumulating money and obviously shagging.
Right.
Have you, or rooting, have you and Bill ever swapped stories?
No. But on the other hand, I think he's made a big mistake. He keeps getting married, you see, and every time you get divorced, 50% of your money or more goes to somebody who you just met when you grew up, not the one who gave you birth, your mother. She gets nothing. Somebody you just happened to spend a few years with your life. So he's made a few very bad financial errors.
You know, in the scheme of things, though, I was just using him as maybe a touchstone. I'm wondering who would be on a par with you. I mean, Bill reckons he's up in the thousands.
Well, you know, I never think it's about numbers. Everybody else keeps talking about that. He's going, no, it's not
It's
about
not
that.
about numbers.
No, I think it is. Is it? No, I think it is.
I love your consistency, Gene.
You know what it is? I really believe, in short, in brief, every day above ground's a good day, and it's up to you to make sure every day of your life is filled with happiness. And it doesn't matter if anybody else gets it. If your teacher doesn't get it, your preacher, anybody else, too bad. Enjoy life, do it your way, and if somebody else doesn't get it, that's too bad, because you can be leading your life their way, getting married if that's what you want to do, going to church if that's what you want, so on and so forth. But if it's not what you really want to do, you're going to die one miserable son of a bitch.
And who comes to these, a very wide cross-section of...
Wide range. Yeah, as I said before, the Australian Marketing Institute was filled with professional people, suits and ties,
Yes.
powerful guys such as yourselves. And at the following events tomorrow in Sydney and then the day after in Melbourne, it's going to be a cross range of people. Business people who want to find out how to perhaps reinvent themselves, you know, because KISS has done very well over the years. We have 2,000 licenses, everything from KISS condoms. As a matter of fact,
Yes. I knew he'd get it out sooner or later. Yes, here it is. I don't know whether we can pick that up on another camera here, but...
that was picking it up pretty well.
Yeah, there it is there.
That's a KISS franger.
Yes.
everything from KISS condoms to KISS caskets will get you coming in and going out.
Yes.
And
well, you won't quite get us coming in if you wear the French leather.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I have also started to brand Gene Simmons as an entity. I have a magazine in America that's huge called Gene Simmons Tongue, appropriately enough, which of course you can log on to genesimmons.com at AOL and subscribe right there. But the idea is that life gives you all kinds of opportunities. Girls, business, life, pleasure, and it's up to you to enjoy it, or you snooze, you lose.
Now, do KISS freaks come and see the show?
Oh yeah, you'll have gorgeous women lifted and separated and pointed in my general direction, if you don't mind.
Yes.
But you'll also have people who are, you know, the curiosity seekers. What's this guy all about? Can he put a sentence together, or is it just all flash?
Gene, you need a haircut.
My turn. No, wait a minute. And if you grow yours, you might make as much money as I do.
Fair enough. It's true. Fair enough.
Now, look, we have to end here because obviously the carnival has to continue and Roy and you have business to transact afterwards.
We do.
But look, here's something, you won't be able to patent it because we've done that already.
You.
As a souvenir of your time here, there's this fabulous carnival toilet roll holder and we'd like you to look down there for the happy snap and ask the audience to thank Gene Simmons!
Speaking to?
I am wherever beautiful women are, and if you can tell, if you've had the chance to look around the camp, they are the most beautiful women on the face of the planet. Maybe it's something in your water or your milk, but you're growing beautiful over here. But speaking of potato chips, yes, tonight I'll be at the Sydney Convention Centre doing my Speaking in Tongues tour. Let me kill that. There you go.
Did you get him?
I did. And tomorrow I'll be in Melbourne at the Palais. And the Speaking in Tongues tour is basically a chance for me to get up there with the fans and espouse my notion of living life to the fullest while you're above ground.
And you have lived life to the fullest, haven't you?
Oh yeah, ask your sister.
My sister loved you. I remember, the posters on the ceiling and the posters on the walls. I can't claim to be a Kiss fan, I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. There are too many of us to argue with anyway, so it doesn't really matter. One or two holdouts is okay.
All right, I'm getting the wind-up. A quick tip.
Quick tip. Distinctly secret.
There you go, Bruce. Distinctly secret here from Randwick.
Number 20 from Gene Simmons. Thanks for that, Nick McCardle.
Part of our exclusive interview with Kiss rocker Gene Simmons prompted a big response on the soapbox. Some of you were desperate to hear more. Others question the rocker's sanity. Now, why would you do that?
Well, either way, we're sure that you're keen to see part 2. So here again is our guest reporter, Fiona Horne.
Hi, I'm Fiona Horne. Can you believe I'm in the office of Gene Simmons of Kiss? Now today Gene's going to be telling us all about what it's like to be on the road as a member of Kiss, one of the biggest rock bands in the world. He's going to tell us about his early Australian tour in the 80s, and he's going to tell us how he's survived on the road all these years. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, and he doesn't even smoke. Does that surprise you? Well, I think a lot of things you're going to hear today are going to surprise you. How are your relationships with the other members of Kiss?
Paul I see all the time. He lives right up the road. Ace and Peter live on the east coast of the United States, which is 3,500 miles away. And, you know, it's been up and down with Ace and Peter for almost 30 years. It's basically the chemicals. Sometimes they're healthy, sometimes they're not. When they're healthy, we get along better, and when they're not, I don't want to be around anybody who's not straight.
You've never taken drugs, never smoked a cigarette, never drunk alcohol.
No, that's not, you know, when somebody says sip, you take a sip.
Well, tell us why you don't do drugs and drink.
You know, it's funny, I've heard philosophers, New Age people, who espouse the notion that drugs open all kinds of doorways and so on. And I basically say, you know, you're full of crap, you just want to get high. So just be honest enough to say, I want to get high and that's what I want to do. Don't give me this stuff about its consciousness. Well, they answer, well, you'll never know. How could you know? Because you've never tried it. I go, wait, let's slow down a little bit. Are you inferring that I have to try something in order to know what it's going to be like? He goes, absolutely. How could you know what it's like? So you mean I have to be shot by a gun before I actually know it's going to hurt me? As soon as rock stars tend to become famous, they wind up doing very self-destructive things. But when you really think about it, they may not be qualified to do very much in life after all. They never went to music school, learned how to play their instruments or anything. So success is kind of an accident. So the fact that anybody would think that they're qualified to make decisions about how to lead a normal, logical life, they're in for a rude awakening, because once this idiot becomes famous, he's going to succumb.
Well, Gene, you've got so many Australian gold records, platinum records. Obviously, Australia's loved you for a long time.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's not just the shows, but also, obviously, the women. You keep pointing to the gold records, I'll keep pointing to the women.
Can you remember all the women that you've sort of met in Australia over the years?
Can you remember all the men you've met over the years?
No.
Neither am I. I'm guilty as charged.
You've met a few more. Is there any ones in particular you want to say hello to back in Australia?
Oh, they know who they are.
So what memories do you have of your first Australian Kiss tour in 1980?
I remember arriving dog-tired because the flight must have been 24 hours long. Although I became friends with the stewardess on the way over. I remember landing and immediately taken by the beautiful women and wishing I was straight. But right away the press were trying to get photos of us without makeup. These were the days when we were trying to hide our gorgeous faces. And so we were trapped. I remember staying at the Siebel townhouse in Sydney that we took over the top floor. So you literally couldn't get in there. There was security, and so we could at least walk around and not be photographed without. And so we'd invite guests and press and whatever up to the floor, no cameras. And we were told to keep the curtains drawn. And one day, you know, you get tired, you want to see the daylight or whatever. And as I peered from the outside, there was a helicopter with a telephoto lens right outside my window. It's so difficult to focus in on the best piece of memorabilia. There's just endless. There's a KISS radio with an auto scan. KISS baseballs. I mean, it's
wine collection here. What winery put that together for you?
celebrity winers, and this winers.
Winers.
This KISS casket actually is waterproof, so even though some people may think it's a bit morbid, what it really is also a sort of a cooler, you know? You're watching the telly, you want a cold drink, you reach in there. So bars are getting them.
How many have you sold?
I don't know, actually, but they do very well.
There was a rumour going around when I was at school that you had actually cut the underneath part of your tongue to be able to stick it out as far as you can. Is that true?
No, it's just goddamn big.
It is big.
When I was born, the doctor probably pulled me out by the wrong appendage.
There's a rumour that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you've kept a photograph of every single woman you've slept with.
Well, it's not true. I haven't kept everyone. I've always, from the day I ever picked up a guitar to today, find that women are the most wonderful thing about being in a band. Women for men are also probably the most wonderful thing about being alive. Think of me as a goodwill ambassador. All I want to do, getting to know you, getting to know.
Email us if you've met Gene Simmons. sunrise@7.com.au. We could be inundated here.
What if you're one of those ladies that he met?
And what you find attractive about him?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
A reminder that Gene Simmons is heading to Australia for a series of motivational talks.
Motivational talks?
Do you think he'd motivate you? You
No.
can see him in most capital cities. The dates are now on your screen.
Goodness.
The KISS ice chest I thought was a bit...
wouldn't that look great in a bar or whatever?
There we are. It's a big show and it's going to get bigger now because we're crossing live to Los Angeles. Our next guest, he's a legend of rock and roll. He's a legendary bloke, the best bass player ever in the history of the world. He and his band have sold 80 million albums, and I reckon Gene Simmons has slept with about 80 million women as well. Please make him welcome to Big Footy Show. Welcome to Gene Simmons over there in LA. G'day, Gino.
Hello, Australia!
Gene, you've got about 30,000 screaming fans here, and yeah, they love you. Now, what's doing, champ? I believe you're coming back to Australia. You're doing a speaking tour.
Actually, we're going to be coming down there. God, it's loud over there. Sounds great. I wish I was there. I'm going to be down there actually in about 2 weeks. And I wrote a book called Kiss and Makeup, which became a New York Times bestseller. And all of a sudden, people started asking me to get up and tell my life story. And along the way, they sort of got interested in how I make money. So some of it's going to be about that, and some of it's going to be about the lifted and separated variety, the young ladies of the world.
Yeah, well, that's all well and good, Gene, but listen, mate, I've heard before that you've betted 4,000 women. Any favourites amongst those, or...?
Well, you know, it's ungentlemanly to even talk about those things, but my hope is, of course, that the next beautiful woman is going to be the best one.
Well, Gene, we're about to show a little bit of footage of you on your last tour. Apparently you had a bit of trouble picking up the Australian lingo when you were here last, as you told Fatty when he spoke to you. Let's have a look at this.
I was out and about in Sydney, and somebody came up to me and said they wanted to piss in my pocket. Yeah. It took me a while to understand.
Did you know what that meant? You didn't know what that meant?
I'd never heard that. It took me a while to understand that it was actually, I don't want to over-compliment you.
He wanted to give you a rap, yeah.
No, he actually pissed in his pocket.
Gene, I've got to ask you, when you first started in rock and roll way back then, who influenced you the most? musically?
Well, I have to say it was a lot of the bands that you had on a little while ago, the tribute bands, but certainly the Beatles, above and beyond everything else. They just stopped everything. You know, up until the Beatles, everybody sort of had a lead singer in the front, and it was the first real band where everybody in the band was a star. John, Paul, George, and Ringo. You knew everybody in the band. Everybody else had, you know, the lead singer and the rest of the band you could care less about. They still are the band that tugs at my heart.
Gene, you guys are really, really successful. You've got a new magazine out called Tongue, and also a new line of condoms. Now, what do they look like? Your faces on them or something?
Actually, my face is outside the Kiss condoms, but inside, of course, they are normal, healthy, medically approved condoms, and everybody should wear them. And the notion came up sort of with the idea that nowadays you don't even have a choice. You've got to wear condoms first time, every time, and it may as well be my pretty face on the outside.
Yeah, mate, Peter Sterling wants to know, they come an extra small for him?
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, but send me plenty, that's the main thing.
They, most of the time, one size fits all, unless, of course, you're a Godzilla-sized man.
Don't talk about
like
it.
yourself.
Gene, you mentioned the Beatles, how recognisable they were. I guess Kiss probably are the same ilk. The makeup, how did that come about? Like, why come up with that, and whose idea?
Well, I don't think it's original. There is really nothing original under the sun, and originality, I think, is highly overrated. It was really an idea that came about in the middle of the New York glitter glam era. A lot of bands were trying to dress androgynously. In other words, guys were dressing up and wearing more makeup than their girlfriends. And so the idea was, let's put on a show. Let's give people bang for the buck. Let's give them a reason to go in there and forget about the parking lot. Let's go in there and announce ourselves. Let's have the balls. Let's have Godzilla-sized balls and say, you're about to see the greatest show on earth. That was the idea behind Kiss, and the makeup was just a part of that.
I actually thought it was because Ace Frehley had such a bad head, you had to cover it up.
I beg your pardon?
Now, Gene, we can't let you go without asking you for a tip. I know that you're a mad fan of the rugby league. Are you a Warriors or a Roosters fan this Sunday night?
Well, you know, anytime you say anything one way or the other, you're going to get screwed, but I like the Roosters. You know, a cock is a cock.
Good on you, mate. We look forward to seeing you when you come down. Come on the show.
Just one last
Thank
one,
you.
Gene. As a devoted Kiss fan, there's many here. Please, will there be a Kiss coming back at any stage? Give me something.
I just want to say that, you know, it's been almost 30 years now. Actually, it has been 30 years of getting up on stage, thanks to you people. And as I sit here now, Kiss is the #1 American gold record champions of all time. Bigger than the Beach Boys, bigger than... Thanks to you. And I just want to say before I leave, anything is possible.
Good on you,
all right, Gene. Thanks very much. Gene Simmons, absolute legend. We love him. We love his band. He's one of the great blokes.
Hey, Fatty,
and
you really love him, don't you? Like, you've got an unhealthy respect.
He's a showman, he's a talent, he's
growing up,
they're
Fatty,
a great band.
Growing up, all we heard in, especially our bedroom, was Matty with Kiss. He loved him. Why don't you sing us a song, Matty? Kiss song.
Sing a Kiss song?
Loves. Want to sing a Kiss song?
Absolutely.
There's so many good ones.
Which one?
Right up. How about My Delilah?
That's something
wrong.
Did they sing that?
You're a rock and roll all
You're a
night.
lunatic.
Party every day. Oh, they just sensational. All right, we'll take another break on the Footy Show. We've got plenty more happening. Stay with us.
Because Sasha has to pee. We have now taken the fashion sense test. All of our celebrities' answers have been analyzed and scored by the experts at queendom.com. It's one of the internet's leading personality profile sites. Queendom.com, yeah, that's the name, Cynthia.
It's four fabulous queens sitting around voting.
Alexa's like, how do I get on board? I like that. Okay. Each guest has been graded on a scale from 0 to 100, and here are the results. Alexis, I want you to read yours.
Oh my goodness. Sasha and I each got 70 points. We're in the same category.
Yay for you! What does that mean? Is that good?
You're in the highest category. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. which put us in the highest category. If you scored in this category, you likely know all the fashion rules and stay on top of the latest trends. Remember, looking good may make you feel great, but make sure it's not the core of your self-worth. Beauty is only skin deep, but money goes all the way to the core.
Okay. All right. I got 60 points, middle category, which puts me in the middle category. If you fell into this category, looking good is important to you, but you don't go so far as to obsess over building the perfect wardrobe. You do just enough to maintain your style without being an all-out stickler for every fashion rule or trend that comes along. But it says here you did look fabulous while taking the test. Of course.
Oh, Cynthia, Gene, this is yours. Gene's results.
Okay, I got 30 points, which puts me in the lowest category. If you fell into this category, you might appreciate beautiful clothes or have great fashion sense. But if you just don't place extremely high value on attire, essentially, you have better things to worry about than clothing. Or maybe you just think of clothes like wrapping paper to be removed.
Sounds like Gene to me. That sounds right on.
But did Sasha and I, technically, did we win?
Yeah, you won. You won. You won a Speedo. Look at them. All right, that's it for us tonight on the test. As always, you can take any of our other tests online and get your own personality profile. Log on to fxnetworks.com. My thanks to our guests and, of course, you at home. Thanks for watching. I'm Jillian Barbary. Good night.